Okay, here we go. All righty. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I realize that some people are not Facebook people, and even though I did do my highly sensitive animal slash horse training on Facebook, I just finished up in there a little ago. I decided to go ahead and just do a quick recap for you here. So let me just take a moment in case you are new to my world. My name is Helena Das, and it's an interesting journey learning how to describe who I am and what I do. I often refer to myself as a cosmic cowgirl, equine empress, and recently I had a beautiful new friend and colleague describe me as renegade vet turned horse shaman, which I really, really love. And so anyway, my mission, my passion, my goal on this ever-evolving journey at this time is currently to shed light on the sacred and divine connection that we have with our beloved horses and or small animal companions, and really help those of us who are animal lovers and conscious on this spiritual journey, on this ascension path, to know that if we have animals in our lives at this time who are going through something, and that something can be anything, there's a full spectrum. It can be anything from a chronic health challenge, illness, disease, to a sudden mysterious change in behavior, maybe a training or performance issue. It can be anything at all that is a bit of a challenge, that has you worried, that has you concerned, that has you stressed out as their divine guardian, okay? As their guardians, I believe it is our divine duty to really expand our awareness and realize that if there is something going on right now, and you are on this ascension journey, on this path, that they are too. And if anything, the animals are more tuned in, more connected to the collective consciousness, to the cosmos, to our energies than we even can begin to realize or imagine. And because of this, I feel it is so important, based on my path, based on my history of not only working with hundreds of horses and small animals in my over 2-decade, career as a holistic veterinarian, and the many animals that I've been blessed to have in my own life over the years. Some of the things that I've noticed, some of them are in reflection, going back in hindsight, and others are, really just this incredible, like it's more than coincidence, okay? It's more than coincidence. And so what I am wanting to say is, first and foremost, that if you have an animal, and you're an animal lover, again, animal, a horse, dog, cat, it doesn't matter. They are all tuned in. They are like children. They are like sponges. They have such huge hearts and unconditional love. And I really feel that we need to be aware of that. And in caring for them, similar to the sensitive souls, and this is, let me backtrack a moment. What kind of got me off on this whole topic was so many people, at least in the spiritual circles and arenas that I travel, are often talking about empaths and intuitives and heart-centered souls and light workers and just sensitive souls. And I completely resonate with that. I mean, I have been one my whole life, okay? And the more my gifts came online after my spiritual awakening, the greater the sensitivities, I became even more sensitive, whether it was to loud noises, whether it was to being around crowds of people, whether it was to certain food or drink. And so, it's fairly well known, if you are a sensitive, conscious soul, that, chances are you've discovered, or maybe you're on the path to discovering it now, that as a sensitive soul, we do require to, take a little bit more mindfulness or consciousness in terms of our self-care, in terms of our lifestyle, in terms of our boundaries, right? Our energetic boundaries and the way we manage our own energy, and the way we are sharing energy with others. So in the same vein, if we come back to the animals, right? For me, animals are actually, if you had to compare four-leggeds to two-leggeds, and we can even expand this to finned and winged and wild animals too. But as I mentioned earlier, I truly feel that they are way more tuned in than we are. And so if that is the case, they are so sensitive, right? And they actually also need to be treated in kind. They need their sacred guardians, their caretakers, to realize that as the sentient and sensitive beings that they are, that and because they can't always talk to us and tell us until they get sick or have something going on or communicate with their behavior, that there are potentially things that they're on the journey too, right? They're on this ascension journey too. And that there are things that are going on somewhere, again, whether it be diet, lifestyle, maybe, their environment, maybe dynamics with other animals or members of the household, two-legged or four, right? We're all sharing energy. We're all connected, right? We're all on this path. And so I think it's just so important for us to really be aware of that. And the greater the issue is, that if you are someone who's dealing with, again, an issue with one of your horses or animals, especially a chronic health challenge or illness, then that is really a wake-up call. It's like you're both going through some sort of spiritual initiation, and that there is some sort of maybe gift, lesson, blessing. There's something in there for the both of you, and that's where I come in. That's where my superpower, or one of my superpowers, lies, in helping to really shed light on that shared energy and help heal that, so that you can both heal. And as Rumi says, we're all walking each other home. So I hope this makes sense. And really, in a nutshell, this is something that I'm really, really being guided and inspired strongly, and feel is my divine duty and dharma, if you will, my sacred duty, to really bring this forward, in a way that hopefully can assist in the healing process, as well as that deep transformation and expansion that so many of us are looking for. And if you're interested in partnering with your beloved animal companion, if they've got something going on and you would like to really not only help them heal in the physical, not only address the holistic veterinary, approaches, tools, and, tools and jewels and practices that I have in my medicine bag that can assist with the healing process, but also bring in that spiritual, that energetic, whether it's that shared energy, whether there's surrogacy going on, whether there's a soul contract, and explore that so that there's a greater depth of healing and potentially an accelerated healing. Because once we can uncover and discover that root root, and heal that root cause of what's going on, because we know everything starts out with energy, right? The energy comes first. The energy, whether it's our, limiting beliefs, our thoughts, our emotions, right? Maybe from some past trauma, whatever it is. And then when that's not healed or addressed or integrated properly in a way that allows us to really move those energies through our bodies instead of getting stuck and crystallizing and becoming a pain body, creating blockages in the energy flow of our body, no matter what system you want to look at, whether it's the chi and the acupuncture meridians, whether it's the prana, the nadis, whatever it is, there is energy blockage. And then that creates pain, discomfort, disease, illness, etc. Right? And so when we can get to that root, then we can not only heal that emotional, energetic, spiritual, mental part, okay, but also assist the healing on a physical level, if that makes sense. So, what else? I just real quickly will share with you the a brief overview of the 5 elements in Chinese medicine, which I covered in my training in my Facebook group. And they involve the fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And in my foundational approach, my holistic approach, every individual, whether I work with, whether I've worked with the 4-leggeds and also when I was doing my work with the 2-leggeds, I've worked with both, obviously, or maybe I shouldn't say obviously. If you've been following me, I have a over 2 decades rich background in my holistic vet practice. And quite honestly, if I look at it, because it was a holistic based vet practice, I was also coaching and working with the guardians, the 2-legged, I don't like the word owner, so the pet parents or horse mom or whatever you want to call it, as well, in terms of coaching them and supporting them in caring for their animals, right? And then I have, over the past decade, expanded my reach on the internet, doing all sorts of energy medicine and body brilliance coaching, working with many, many amazing, especially women all over the world, empowering them in the realm of really connecting with their sacred feminine essence, and learning to live in and love their bodies so that they could heal, so that they could thrive, so that they could shine. And so now, most recently, I've been guided and maybe come full circle to bring the two together, and especially calling on the, again, the conscious horse moms and pet parents who are on this spiritual journey, and, are animal people, animal lovers, and have animals in their lives that they would like support with, whether it be preventive maintenance, and they have a younger, animal and want them to just have the best optimal opportunity for, health and vitality and harmony, or again, if they've got some kind of challenge going on with them. So I want you to know that if this is you and you're, resonating with any of this, I want you to know that I'm here for you. I have your back, and I have brought forward an opportunity where you can get my support to support you both in this healing journey, bringing together my gifts and my experience in what I just shared, right? And then that 5 element that I was going to touch on, and I kind of went off another tangent, is where we look at the individual constitution of, your horse or small animal. And when we know what that is, and we look at yours as well, if you like, or if it, as guided, but starting with the animals or the horses, when we know that, we are able to see the connection of not only your dynamics, but the connection to the health issue, because each one of the elements is intimately related with the different physical organ systems and the acupuncture meridians and or energy channels in the body. So for example, well, I'll use a different one that I used in there. So for example, we have the earth element, okay? Earth personality as whether it's two-legged or four-legged, is typically going to be the peacemaker, the babysitter, the divine mother, the nurturer, okay? The one who is really in many ways just kind of with their love and their nurturing energy, kind of just taking care of those around them. They also enjoy their food. They might be a little lazy, a little stubborn, and they're very easygoing. Okay, so that's a general description of the earth personality. So the physical organ system that is associated with the earth is the stomach and the spleen. And so, digestion and nutrition and our diet all are going to become very, very important as an earth individual, again, whether two-legged or four. And so if someone, again, human or animal, is having issues, for example, with their stomach or stomach ulcers, chances are in their constitution, either primary or secondary, there is a strong earth influence. And I'm kind of simplifying it here. There can be some different cycles that influence if something's been going on a long time, that can happen and not be an earth. But just to keep it simple for today. So the reason I bring that up is as we can discover and uncover and better understand our individual constitution and the connection to the physical, that enables us, allows us, gives us more tools and more direction in terms of assisting the healing process. And again, this is part of my superpowers where I come in, and with the tools that I have, where we can start balancing, the earth energies, as well, again, as doing all the practical things, whether it's addressing the diet or probiotics or whatever. But there are also ways for us to energetically and spiritually address that earth energy, that stomach energy, and more and beyond the scope of this call. So that was just one example I wanted to share in terms of, to just give you a little tapas, a little taste of my approach and where I like to start. But it is a very comprehensive approach where we would, be looking at everything, and again, marrying the practical and the spiritual, and potentially, as I shared earlier, as we address especially that energetic, emotional, spiritual part, which chances are, if you've got something chronic going on, and this again applies to you both, two-legged or four, then that is the missing link. It was on my journey and my health journey, over the years where I, did diets and herbs and acupuncture and chiropractic and all of these things. It wasn't until I finally started addressing the emotional roots and, the unresolved past trauma and wounding, and finding the tools and practices to help with that, to integrate those past wounds and help me to, kind of really come home to myself. That's when the shifts started happening. So all of it needs to be there. So I hope that makes sense. And, I really, I will leave in the link I am now offering, if you are resonating with my message, if you would like to explore just to see if it's a fit to work together, I am offering Equilight exploration sessions. It's a free 30-minute session where we can get together and just, talk about your situation and see if it's a fit for us to go deeper. There is a questionnaire there where you can answer some questions about your, either your horse or small animal companion that are your biggest concerns. That'll help us get the most of our time together and help me get to know you more before we actually connect, so that when we do connect, whether or not you decide to go deeper with my work, I still desire to be a contribution to somehow uplift you, inspire you, empower you with maybe some next steps, and support you on this healing journey. So with that, I am going to end this call. Just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention. Pretty much that's it. I love you, and I will try to I think I'm gonna try. I'm getting the hit right now to really commit to the Friday afternoons, jumping on here live for a few, both Facebook and here, just so again, in case you're not a Facebook person, and believe you me, for years I really was not a Facebook person, but anyway, that's a whole other conversation for another time. So I love you, and before I go, I thank you so much. I'm on a mission to really reach more people, make a greater impact for the animals, for the love of our animals. So if you can help me out, share the love, hit that like button, subscribe. I am really desiring to just, again, expand my impact. So I'm grateful if you feel called to help me at whatever level. And until next time, oh, welcome. I still haven't figured out the chat thing. Before I go, if you have any questions or comments, well, if you're just joining me, you may not, because you didn't hear, but just so you know, I basically went on a little rant, in a nutshell, on why I feel in my heart of hearts that as sacred guardians of our amazing horses and animal companions, that it's our divine duty to really, wake up, if you will, to that shared bond and connection we have, that I truly feel is more magical and deeper and expanded, and connected than we really even can begin to know or understand at this time. And it is my, desire to support you and your animals, horses, to really enjoy the health, the wealth of being, the vitality, the peace, the harmony that is your birthright, and support you on this healing journey, on this ascension process, because we are, at the end of the day, all connected. And I really want to be a voice for the horses and animals that perhaps, cannot really speak for themselves in terms of, everything I just shared. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I love you. Have a blessed, safe, sane weekend. If you have any questions or comments, I will come back and check. If you're listening to the replay, please feel free to leave a comment, and or reach out if I can be of any support. Okay, I love you. Namaste.